If some people didn't have bad luck, they'd have no luck at all. I'm Tim Black. Welcome to News for People Who Can't Stand the News. All right, so maybe you know James Blake. He's a tennis player. He's still famous. He's a celebrity. And he was in town in New York City at the Grand Hyatt, outside waiting on a cab when this happened. That's right. They gaffled him up. Now, this was all done because he resembled a guy they were looking for. A guy they were looking for credit card fraud. Obviously, James Blake is not the guy they were looking for, and obviously they're in hot water. The guy who roughed him up? Officer James Frascatore. Now, James Frascatore just ain't a regular cop who's never had a problem. Nah, James Frascatore's had 5 citizen complaints, and he's only been on the NYPD 4 years. That's 5 complaints, been on the force 4 years. That's a lot of complaints, folks. Some officers spend their whole career, 20 or 30 years, and never have 5 complaints. So obviously, something's up with Frascatore. Well, look, here's my thing, man. I wouldn't have a problem with what Frascatore did, because honestly, hey, man, Blake didn't get that hurt. He didn't. I mean, unless you break an arm or break a bone or break a neck or choke the life out of someone, what's there to see? Of course, I'm kidding, right? But you know, there are people who act that way. They're like, well, he didn't really get that hurt. Hey, man, if I'm just minding my business and somebody runs up on me, doesn't ask me any questions, doesn't identify themselves, what if Blake would have fought him back? This guy probably would have shot Blake, or at least roughed him up more. Now do you understand the problem? Some people, you can't convince them, man, because they just love cops so much. Cops can do no wrong. We just love cops, even when they're blatantly, obviously wrong. Listen, Frascatore is a hothead. He's an aggressive type. The type of cop who loves to mix it up. Just this time, he mixed it up with the wrong guy. Because see, James Blake, he's black, but he ain't regular black. Nah, he's special black. He Will Smith black. You know? Idris Elba black. Them the type of black guys, you mess with them, you end up on the front page. Well, here goes another important part of this story that a lot of people are not talking about. The problem about this case is not just the mistaken identity. It's that it was never reported. That's right. 5 cops showed up on the scene when this happened, besides Frascatore, and none of those 5 cops reported it. That's right. That means the bosses at the NYPD didn't even know what happened until, it made the news. That's probably why they're throwing Frascatore under the bus, because everybody covered for him. And that's what's wrong with the NYPD. And that's what's wrong with all law enforcement. Everybody covers for the guy who screws up, or the guy who's a screw up, like Frascatore. Listen, man, there's 2 other lawsuits against Frascatore, where he roughed up a guy in Queens in front of a deli, and another guy roughed him up in Queens in front of his house. I mean, it's obviously Frascatore don't like guys from Queens. Both guys he roughed up happened to be black, but hey, Blake said, hey man, I don't think this was racial profiling. I just think it was bad police work. And I agree with him. So listen, Frascatore, they took his gun, they took his badge, and they're sitting him out while they investigate. But I got a feeling Frascatore is going to be gone from the force. And he deserves to be. I mean, come on, man. All Blake had to do was make one bad move, and this could be a very, very bad situation for all parties involved. So I'm tired of hearing people say, all cops aren't bad. Well, you know what? All civilians aren't bad. And while you're sitting around trying to take up for the cops that do the wrong thing, just remember this. Right now is the best time in the world of the history of cops to be a cop in the United States. You know why? Because less cops get hurt on the job at the hands of perpetrators than ever. But you know who gets hurt a lot by cops? Us. People like James Blake, people like Tim Black, people like you. I mean, if there's a case of mistaken identity. So, I think James Frascatore is right where he needs to be, home chilling. This episode of Tim Black TV is brought to you by my friends over at YourCannabisHouston.com. That's right, medical marijuana for those that qualify. Head on over to yourcannabishouston.com, all in compliance with Proposition 215. And tell them Tim Black sent you.